My name is Megan Scott.
Hi, I'm Rachel Phillips. Hi, I'm Morgan McNeil.
And I'm Meredith Kilby. We're going to talk about our CAP project. Okay, so our CAP project was about healthy living after a life of addiction. We presented to a group of recovering addicts attending a program called First Step Recovery. First Step Recovery is an intensive outpatient therapy that is court mandated. This 12-week program is held at the Clay County Health Department in Salina, Tennessee. They meet 3 nights a week and talk about topics regarding recovery, such as coping methods and drug facts. We presented our project to this group on April 4th. We presented to a group which was made up of non-recovering addicts. The ages ranged from approximately early 20s to early 70s, and most of the group members were at the younger end of the spectrum. The group was mostly made up of males, but there were 3 females that were present. And our target population is made up of individuals that attend a support recovery group at the Clay County Health Department 3 days a week, which is court mandated. Our learning objectives from the PowerPoint that we provided covered short-term and long-term health effects of the body from alcohol, opioid, benzodiazepine, and methamphetamine abuse. And we also talked about how to lead a healthy lifestyle, such as exercising, nutrition, sleeping schedules, effective coping strategies, and the importance of maintaining a good support system.
Okay, so as Meredith and Megan said, we presented to First Step Recovery in Salina, and this group of clients have been court appointed to intensive outpatient therapy due to charges against them for violation of probation, possession charges, and DCS investigations for positive urine drug screens. So we presented to a group of 9 addicts who each struggle with different addictions ranging from alcohol to benzodiazepine, Subutex, Suboxone, methamphetamine, and even IV morphine. We used handouts that we retrieved online regarding alcohol abuse, benzodiazepine abuse, methamphetamine abuse, and the unfortunate occurrence of endocarditis with IV drug use. These topics really struck a chord with this population, as more than one of these topics have impacted their life in more than one way. After covering these adverse effects of drug and alcohol abuse, we discussed the importance of nutrition, exercise, rest, and meditation while living a life of recovery. The neurotransmitters in the brain are vastly depleted after a life of addiction, and it is important to implement the mentioned topics in order to maintain a healthy life after addiction.
I think we've all had people in our lives that we've known or loved that have been affected by addiction, either to alcohol or drugs. So that's one of the reasons why we really thought it was important to do our CAP presentation with this First Step Recovery group. So we went into this CAP project with different expectations about how we thought it would go and how people would relate to us when we were presenting. As a general rule, we try to be very non-judgmental people, especially with our patients, and try to understand that there are many reasons that people can end up addicted to various substances. So I think we all went in with a very non-judgmental perspective on it. So when we finished our presentation, we wanted to ask some questions to the actual group members, and one of the questions we asked was, as future nurses, since we'll all be nurses in about a month, what would you like us to know about how to better care for an addict? And we got a lot of really good responses that I think will help us in our future interactions with patients. But we heard a lot of great comments from the clients as well, saying how appreciative they were of the nurses they've had when they've had experiences in doctor's offices or in the hospital. So we were glad to hear that they've had good experiences with nurses. And they kept saying that nurses are very underappreciated and how glad they were that we were going to be their nurses one day probably. But then advice-wise, the group members wanted us to know how important it is for them to feel heard and like someone cares and is taking time to listen to them. We also heard a heartbreaking story from a group member that became addicted to pain pills because the doctor kept writing an unneeded prescription. So that was really hard to hear and know that that actually does happen and meet someone that happened to. We as future nurses want to provide excellent nursing care to all of our patients, but specifically are passionate about advocating for those who are addicts or have been addicted to various substances in the past. I think we really enjoyed this time with the group members at the First Step Recovery program and received very positive feedback from the group members, and they were really thankful for us taking the time and caring to study how to become better nurses for addicts.